The Sharps-Borchardt Model, 1878, made every other rifle on the frontier look like an antique. Professional buffalo hunters racing against time, seasoned mountain guides, and even one of Brigham Young's own sons recognized something special about the Sharps-Borchardt Model, 1878. This cutting-edge rifle represented the pinnacle of Sharps engineering, yet it faced an uphill battle for acceptance among traditionalists who swore by the proven Model 1874. The absence of the familiar external hammer made many frontiersmen suspicious at first glance. They trusted what they knew worked, the reliable Model 1874 that had never let them down in dangerous situations. Sales started slowly as skeptical buyers questioned whether this modern design could match the dependability of its predecessor. However, practical experience won over doubters one by one. Veterans of the frontier began to appreciate the rifle's refined mechanics and smoother operation. Word spread among hunting camps and trading posts that the new action delivered superior performance. One experienced hunter captured the typical conversion story perfectly. Initially put off by the hammerless design, he eventually admitted the rifle proved much quicker and safer in actual use. As more testimonials like this circulated, orders began flowing into the Sharps factory with increasing frequency, validating the innovative engineering that marked the end of an era for America's most legendary rifle maker. When the dust settled from America's victory over Mexico in 1848, the frontier demanded better firearms than the slow-loading muskets that had dominated battlefields for centuries. Christian Sharps answered that call with a revolutionary single-shot rifle that would define an entire era of Western expansion. While most shooters still fumbled with ramrods and powder horns, Sharps unveiled his breakthrough breech-loading design that could be loaded from the rear of the barrel. This innovation sparked 3 decades of continuous refinement that would carry his rifles from the primitive cap-and-ball days through the sophisticated metallic cartridge revolution of the 1880s. The timing couldn't have been better. As massive buffalo herds thundered across the Great Plains and settlers pushed deeper into hostile territory, Sharps rifles became the weapon of choice for anyone who needed reliability when their life depended on it. No other breech-loading rifle of the 1850s could match their durability or accuracy. Sharps proved as savvy a businessman as he was an inventor. He initially partnered with Albert Nips in Pennsylvania to produce his early models, then shifted operations to Vermont, where the prestigious Robbins and Lawrence firm manufactured his improved 1851, 1852, and 1853 variants. By establishing the Sharps Rifle Manufacturing Company in 1851, he positioned himself to oversee every aspect of development while building the foundation for what would become America's most trusted frontier firearm. Hartford, Connecticut emerged as the epicenter of American rifle manufacturing when Sharps consolidated his entire operation there in 1856. The bustling industrial city provided everything the growing company needed: skilled craftsmen, reliable transportation, and access to the latest manufacturing techniques that would propel Sharps rifles to new heights of precision. The Model 1855 marked a historic milestone as the first Sharps rifle crafted entirely within Connecticut's borders. Its distinctive angled breech block, tilted slightly backward within the receiver, became the signature feature that shooters would recognize for years to come. But Sharps wasn't finished innovating. Fresh patents secured in 1856 and 1859 allowed company engineers to redesign the entire mechanism, creating what they called the straight breech, a final engineering masterpiece that would define the rifle's ultimate form. This vertical drop block system proved both simpler and more reliable than its predecessor. The models 1859 and 1863 debuted this revolutionary straight breech design just as America plunged into civil war. Soldiers appreciated the rifle's robust rectangular frame and smooth lever-operated loading system that exposed the chamber with a simple downward pump. When peace returned, factory workers modified the distinctive side hammer to handle the new metallic cartridges that were replacing paper and percussion caps. Rather than abandon their war surplus inventory, Sharps Armories converted thousands of models 1859 and 1863 to fire powerful .5070 government rounds or .5270 rimfire ammunition, finding eager buyers in the civilian market. Meanwhile, the factory launched fresh production runs of updated cartridge models, the 1867, 1868, and beyond, each incorporating lessons learned from battlefield experience. When the Model 1874 rolled off production lines in 1871, it instantly captured the imagination of every serious frontiersman from Texas to Montana. This wasn't just another rifle. It was the weapon that would earn Sharps its legendary reputation across the American West. By 1876, the Bridgeport, Connecticut factory had grown so confident in their creation that they began stamping Old Reliable directly onto each barrel, a bold declaration that became the unofficial motto for every Sharps rifle ever made. During the epic siege at Adobe Walls in 1874, Buffalo hunter Billy Dixon borrowed a 50-90 Sharps and accomplished what many thought was impossible, dropping a Comanche warrior at an incredible 1,538 yards. This event catapulted the Model 1874 to legendary status. Stories like this spread like wildfire across frontier camps and trading posts, cementing the rifle's reputation as the ultimate long-range weapon. With over a dozen different grades and variants to meet every possible demand, Sharps provided the Model 1874 in an amazing range of configurations. Today's collectors rank it as the second most coveted Sharps rifle, trailing only the exceptionally rare Model 1869 in desirability and value. Everything changed in 1878 when Sharps unveiled a radical departure from tradition. The new model eliminated the company's iconic external hammer in favor of an internal firing mechanism designed by Sharps-Borchardt, a brilliant inventor who would later create the famous C93 semi-automatic pistol that inspired the German Luger. This hammerless design featured sleek, flat-sided frames that looked decades ahead of their time. A total philosophical change was reflected in the Sharps-Borchardt, which had a sleek, contemporary design that implied precision engineering instead of the rough, mechanical look of previous versions. Between 1878 and the company's closure in 1881, Sharps manufactured approximately 8,700 of these innovative rifles across 9 distinct variants. Many carried familiar names from the Model 1874 lineup: the hunter's rifle, business rifle, military rifle, mid-range and long-range models, plus numerous sporting configurations. Customers could even commission custom modifications through Sharps' specialized in-house workshop for additional fees. To complement the rifle's streamlined profile, the factory offered elegant hard rubber grips or luxurious walnut panels that accentuated the flat frame sides. Sharps offered their revolutionary hammerless rifle and cartridges ranging from the modest .40 to 50 all the way up to the thunderous .45 to 100, a round capable of dropping massive buffalo at extreme distances. Renowned Western firearms experts such as Carlos Gove of Denver, who frequently serviced weapons for professional buffalo hunters and personally attested to the Sharps-Borchardt's remarkable accuracy and dependability, were drawn to the rifle's sleek profile and inventive engineering. Among the rifle's most notable admirers was Alphaeus Young, one of the many sons born to Mormon pioneer leader Brigham Young. In July 1878, the younger Young demonstrated his appreciation for fine craftsmanship by placing a substantial $150 order with the Sharps factory, a fortune at the time, for a premium engraved long-range model complete with protective leather trunk, specialized reloading equipment, and brass cartridge cases. The finished rifle represented the pinnacle of 19th-century gun-making artistry. Gorgeous Italian walnut showcased the wood's natural grain patterns, while an elegant oval silver nameplate on the stock's left side proclaimed, "Alphaeus Young, Salt Lake City, Utah. This wasn't merely a hunting tool. It was a statement piece worthy of frontier aristocracy. Young, who earned his living as a journalist, relied on this magnificent rifle for challenging long-distance hunting expeditions and precision shooting competitions throughout the territory. The weapon served him faithfully for over 4 decades until his passing on March 30, 1920, a testament to both the rifle's durability and its owner's deep appreciation for superior craftsmanship. Today's firearms enthusiasts hold Sharps rifles in the same reverence that frontier legends like Buffalo Bill and Wild Bill Hickok once did. The mental image remains unchanged from the 1870s. That iconic curved trigger guard, the robust side-mounted hammer, and the unmistakable silhouette that defined an era of American expansion. Yet this traditional picture tells only part of the story. Hidden within Sharps's remarkable legacy lies the elegant Sharps-Borchardt, a rifle so advanced it seemed to belong in the next century rather than the closing days of the Buffalo era. Its refined lines and revolutionary hammerless design represented everything the company had learned during 3 decades of frontier service. The Sharps-Borchardt deserves recognition not as an oddity, but as the crowning achievement of America's most trusted rifle manufacturer. This sophisticated firearm carried forward the old reliable tradition, while pioneering innovations that would influence firearms design for generations to come. In many ways, the Sharps-Borchardt marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. As the last rifle to bear the famous Sharps name, it helped clear the stage for a new generation of repeating rifles, particularly the Winchester, that would dominate the 20th century. The torch had been passed, but not before Sharps delivered one final masterpiece that proved they could innovate as brilliantly as they had always manufactured.